I don't think there's a better guest in the world than the one that we're about to talk to about this. It's none other than Tommy Chong. Tommy is, of course, of Cheech and Chong fame. Who the hell doesn't know that? And
Right.
it's kind of cool to have. What's going on, man? How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Like the song said, summertime and the living is easy. Fish are jumping and the cotton is high. Your daddy's rich and your mama's good looking. That's me.
And speaking of wives, by the way, last night you and I were in bed together because I thought, since I'm going to interview Tommy tomorrow, let me look and see other interviews he's doing. So I did the whole YouTube thing, and you showed up.
Oh, good.
You were talking to Joe Rogan, and you were talking to a bunch of people. And my wife comes into bed as usual, as wives are prone to do, and she says, "So it's going to be three of us? What's going on here?"
Oh, I like that wife.
So last night it was me, you, and Suzanne, right?
Oh, great. I wish I was there. I mean, really.
Well, you kind of were. So, hey, Tommy, speaking of high, so Fox News apparently is going out and saying that the reason people are committing mass shootings in the United States is because they're smoking weed, and that causes them to be sociopathic, aggressive, and violent. To which you say, what, sir? Good sir.
Well, they're obviously using the same Donald educational aids that Donald Trump uses, and they're obviously on the same page as the Trump, they're imagining things. They're wishing that was true, for their people that they make money off of, that they lie to. No, it's ridiculous. And I heard about Laura Ingraham saying that, instead of banning the assault weapons or the ammunition, you got to get that weed. You got to ban the weed again.
Just in case,
even though it cures cancer.
Just in case there's somebody out there who's never gotten high or seen marijuana or knows nothing about marijuana, would you explain to them how it is that smoking pot will probably make you less likely to want to kill somebody?
It goes back centuries, if not thousands of years. The human race have always used plants for their medicine. Mm-hmm. And cannabis is at the top of the plant that is really good medicine. And it has been for many, many, many thousands, if not millions of years. And in fact, they found the Iceman, they call him. I think he was 10 million years old, something like that. And they found cannabis in his little case that he was carrying. So cannabis has always been medicine. It's in the Bible. It's called canna. It was the burning bush that Moses talked to that gave him the 10 Commandments. And the reason it worked, how it worked is that when you inhale the cannabis smoke, you get connected right to God. I mean, there's a definite connection. And that's part of the healing process, of the healing attributes of the cannabis plant. Huh. What it does, it calms the mind, and the mind controls everything in the body, including the immune system. And so the more cannabis that you use, probably the healthier that you will become. And there are people that have adverse effects to cannabis, very few, by the way. I found out that you can't OD on cannabis. All that you will do is go to sleep.
Yeah.
And by the way, a very nice sleep. You might have some crazy dreams like I do, but for the most part, cannabis, like I say, it calms the mind. And when it calms the mind, then the body can go to work. That's why when people are deathly ill with different things, the doctors will sometimes put them into a medically induced coma. And the reason they do that is take the mind away from the healing process, and the body just heals itself. At least that's the theory. And for the most part, it's true. So the people that are against cannabis, for the most part, are doing it for political reasons or economic reasons. They might be into the alcohol business. There's been people in the alcohol business that really talk bad about cannabis. But I was in the cannabis business myself. I mean, in the alcohol business myself for a while there. I had a after hours club, and it was the alcohol that caused all the problems that we ever had. And it was the cannabis that actually solved the problems that we had, because cannabis will make you either friendly or quiet, and definitely not aggressive. So what Laura and them are talking about, they're mistaking cannabis for alcohol. That's their only problem.
Let's listen to Laura Ingraham. I'm glad I'm not the only one who doesn't pronounce her name well. Neither do you, I guess. But I guess it's Ingraham, right? Ingraham. Anyway, this woman, Laura, said these things, and we're going to play it so you could take a listen. Here it is.
These are the eyes of some of the mass killers who've reportedly been regular pot users. Look at them. Indications are that Robert Crimo was a regular pot user. Now, one look at him, and to the untrained eye, he looks like a complete psychotic. Have you ever seen anyone looking like him? And what can regular pot use trigger in young men in particular? Psychosis and other violent personality changes.
That's interesting, that word that she's using, and I think she's doing it on purpose, the term regular pot users, because couldn't you make an argument that regular alcohol users are probably 99% of the population of the United States? And if that means if 99% of the population of the world does something wrong, you could say, aha, they were regular alcohol users, by golly, right?
Well, look at the statistics of the pandemic, okay? Bars were closed immediately. They closed them down. Boom. Why? Because people get together and get stupid.
Right.
One of the only things that were left open and called essential was the pot shops. They never closed us down. They kept it open. Why? Because it's medicine. It's medicine for severely, people with severe problems. And some of it's mental, but for the most part, it's physical problems. And the pot helps them to the point. Well, look at the reason pot got legal was because it had Cheech and Chong really helped. I think we helped keep it illegal for a while, but it was Dr. Sanjay Gupta had this
dear friend of mine, by the way.
Yeah, he is?
Yeah, we remember I used to do Rick's List on CNN for a long time, and he and I used to have breakfast together every morning in the commissary.
He showed this baby, a year-old baby, that had epilepsy and had a stroke every 5 minutes. And they gave him the marijuana, the Charlotte's Web, I believe it was called, strain, and it eliminated her epilepsy fits, to the point where the baby hugged its mother for the first time since it was born. Can you imagine that? And that was thanks to the cannabis, to the cannabis plant. So it's a miracle plant. Always has been, always will be. And the reason it was made illegal, it was the same reason that Laura and them are talking about it, is it was used by Mexicans. That's why they called it marijuana.
It's funny you say that. I want to show you. So I want to put up something that I found, and I know those of you who may be watching us on YouTube are going to see that, and those of you who are listening to the podcast won't. But I'll read it to you. Look at this headline. We got this from 1913. Marijuana turns Mexicans into wild beasts. Smoking weed turns Mexicans into wild beasts. This is from 1913. Yeah. And like it, there's apparently a ton of these where for some reason the messaging was that Mexicans, Latinos, were bringing their stuff into the United States. They couldn't handle it. And it was really, what's the story behind that, Tommy?
Well, that's it. That was it. It's a racist law. If you look at, you want to have fun, look at 1903 World's Fair. It was the most racist World Fair in the world. It was held, I think it was held in Chicago.
Right, yeah.
Or somewhere.
Right, it was.
Anyway, they had buildings, racist buildings built. They had a building that had a Mexican sombrero, you know, the evil Mexican face. They had a black face with big lips, and it was all racist. And because back then, you know, racism was the thing to do. I mean, and that's why we got blackface minstrel shows and all that stuff.
I mean, think about it, Tommy. I mean, the Lone Ranger, his sidekick was a guy named Tonto, which means stupid. Meanwhile, Kimosabi means he who knows everything. So the most famous show in the United States was a white dude with a white hat who knew everything and a Mexican dude who was an idiot.
Yeah.
And we watched it.
Yeah. That's I mean, that's what it was. You know, the one of the problems, not a really problem, but one of the reasons that Cheech and Chong got so popular was that we showed a caricature of a Chicano that was lovable and not threatening, and not evil, and not a criminal, not violent. We showed a Chicano that was everything but. He was lovable, and he was funny, and he was musical, like Chicanos are, you know. And then his sidekick, me, was this dummy. Oh, by the way, there was a lot of Trumpies that used to really like me, you know, big fans of me because I was such a outspoken idiot, you know. And what we did, we changed everybody's perception, because that's what it was. They demonized. See, that's what Hitler did with the Jews. You know, the Jews in Europe were so ahead of everybody in so many ways, you know, art, medicine, law, everything. That Hitler, the way he became powerful was because he demonized it and gave all the fascists something to hate. And that's what's going on in the world now.
Isn't that happening now in the United States with Mexicans still? I mean, you can't turn on any of these right-wing networks without hearing the border, and they're coming, and if we let them in, your daughter's going to be raped, and they're going to be on welfare, and they don't work, and they're lazy, and they're criminals, and blah, 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 blah. I could go on and on, Tommy.
Yeah, in the meantime, the reason the crops aren't being taken care of is because we don't have any of that stoop labor. You know, that's slave labor that only Mexico and the South America can provide.
Yeah.
You know, so no.
Labor in general. I mean, Latinos right now, I mean, we're the third fastest growing economy in the GDP in the world, only behind China and India. I mean, we create more jobs. We start more businesses. Latinos in this country, if anything, the Laura Ingrahams of the world should be saying, please, we love you, stay. They should be embracing. I mean, I know you're not Latino, but you might as well be. I mean, hell.
Oh no, I'm honorary.
Exactly.
In fact, I tell everybody I'm Latino by injection.
By the way, if you like that comment from Tommy and you want to hear another one, because he's full of them, all you got to do is click right here. And if you want to see an entirely different segment that we've done, then click here. This is Rick Sanchez News, a part of Agua Media.
Agua.